put it in perspective, there are websites that you can upload your reference letter to that will actually decipher and grade your reference letter that you get. So it's literally there's a code, a code behind it. But I think that's really to the point, is that I think this is to another point of German culture and working here, is that why? But legally, I think that the legal requirement is that you're not allowed to say anything negative about your employees. But Germany still does it.
Yeah.
And the way that they do it is that there's this undefined but cultural and normalized technical approach to evaluate reference letters, and it's still saying all like positive words with different levels of superlative on it, and that defines your how you are as an employee. So if somebody just says he shows up on time, that's really bad.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing.
Because he or she is just a warm body in a chair.
And as a foreigner coming in, you can really, in Germany, I'm sure it's everywhere, but you can really get yourself into really bad situations, not understanding those details, because it needs to be always shows up on time.
Yeah.
I think the whole Arbeitszeugnis / employment certificate puts people a little bit in a position of fear.
That's a good point.
And at the work, they're afraid to step out of the box and try something new, because that they might be scrutinized later in their certificate of employment if they would leave, right? It's like always thinking that, I want to get that good letter of appreciation. I want to have good remarks. Nothing negative said about me. So don't take risk.
Yeah.
Don't just stay within my zone, stay within my box.
Yeah.
Don't take responsibility for extra work. And I found that quite a strong difference to the American approach of working, where it's normal for people to go above and beyond, like putting in extra hours and for free, yeah, exactly. But trying to incrementally climb the corporate ladder rather than being comfortable in
their comfort zone,
their zone, their comfort zone. And oftentimes working in a variety of corporate settings in Germany, you'd try to collaborate on teams and you'd get a typical answer. Ich bin dafür nicht zuständig. I'm not responsible for that. Yeah. Like, well, could you help me anyways?
Yeah. And we really have thousands and thousands of judgments of what employers are allowed to write into these Arbeitszeugnisse and whatnot. And the general thought is it should always be a nice certificate so that somebody does not have problems to find a new job. But as you already said, it is being handled in a different way. Often it is being handled to be let's say it openly, to oppress people, to put them down, to make them do what you want them to do, even that is not a fact of their employment contract.
Yeah. But I would also say it's callowing. I think it's very childish as an adult at my age to rely on some technicalities of superlative words when my work should speak for itself. And so I just, the whole idea of it in general, I think is kind of like a teacher scolding a child almost. But it is very suppressive or oppressive here. And I think this is one of the things that I have negative to say more about Germany, is that Germany is great. Germany is a house of mirrors, and so they create a situation where it looks like you're being protected, but in reality you're not. And with regard to the reference letter, it's like, okay, so you can't say anything bad. So rather than say anything bad, we're going to say a bunch of good stuff and rate it differently based on the words that you're using to say whether you're good or bad. So the conversation that we just have, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of getting down to the fairness of whether or not the employee did what he or she was supposed to do and how he should have been fairly scored, in this type of letter of employment by the employer, I personally have had to, go to a labor attorney simply to review my certificate letter and say, is this good enough or could it be better? Right? And they're skilled at making it better. It's going to cost something,
Exactly.
but the employers do buckle in the knees and then say, oh yeah, okay, we can improve this. But if you don't know, if you don't ask, a lot of people, especially foreigners working in Germany, are stuck with one letter after the next that doesn't give them the fair credit that they deserve to get, right? And unfortunately, the letters are looked upon as being, proof of how you are as a worker. I think with the digitalization of HR services and also the human resources industry becoming more modernized to the upcoming Z generations looking for employment, that kind of historical letter of employment will probably...
So it'll be Gen Z that saves Germany.
Would be wonderful.
In my opinion. But if we're really going to talk about employment in Germany versus the United States, we really got to get into details on some other topics.